Hello, everyone. I'm Morgan Merriman, realtor at Remax Alliance here in Fort Collins, Colorado. And thanks for tuning in to another episode of Lifestyle Living's Community Connection. So today I have the pleasure of speaking with Maria Moore, who is the owner of ProCheck Inspection Services here in Fort Collins, Colorado. ProCheck has been providing inspection services in Fort Collins since 1992. And most recently, they were finalists for NOCO Style's Best of NOCO in 2021 and 2022. So thanks for coming on here. Thanks for doing this with me.
Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
This is a great service to our community.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's dive right in. Tell me a little bit about ProCheck, about your business and the services that you guys offer.
Okay. So ProCheck Inspections is a local husband and wife business. We work everywhere from Cheyenne to Longmont, all the northern Colorado. We have 2 inspectors, 2 radon technicians, including myself. And I also specialize in indoor air quality. Yeah. We do home inspections, commercial inspections, in-house sewer scopes, licensed radon testing, mold inspections and testing, and indoor air quality tests.
Perfect. So covering all bases for the most part.
Everything that happens in your house, you're going to see it in your report. It's just one report.
I love it. And the reports are great. I've used you a number of times. The reports are clean. They're easy to read. They're highlighted so that, and broken down so that it's, you know, sort of, don't really have to worry about this. This is, you should focus on this, and this needs to be done.
Yeah, we try not to be alarmist, but it doesn't need to be realtor friendly.
Absolutely. No.
Some reports get really long and heavy.
Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, with everybody's time focus these days, you know, nobody wants to read through pages and pages and pages. Give me the information that I need to know. And so, yeah, I think you guys do a great job of that. So we, of course, you know, like many companies, there's a plethora of different inspection companies. So what do you feel differentiates ProCheck from other home inspection companies?
So the competition is tough. Before, working on weekends, including thermography, which is the infrared camera, and that having the report in 24 hours, that's become the norm now in NOCO. But ProCheck, on top of that, offers free re-inspections. So a re-inspection is, say, we say, oh, you know, this window's, let's do something more complicated. That there's a cracked truss in the attic, and the seller says, oh, I'm going to fix that. Well, you know, that's not something you can just go visually check. You need to have an inspector go into the attic, say, oh yes, this has been fixed, and it's been fixed correctly. So we do that. We also do free radon testing for realtors' homes. Nice. Whenever you need one. You should do it every 2 years. And our inspections include in their prices well and septic testing. So obviously for mountain homes, but you might have a well, you might have a septic. We do a functional test of these. It's not to be confused with a licensed well test where they test portability, static level, etc. We can tell you, we can go in and we can tell you, hey, this is functioning. We look at the expansion tanks, we look at the leach field, look at storage. So we do things and we make sure that's the functionality. And not a lot of inspectors even know how to do that. Yeah,
no, and that's huge. And I can't recall if you mentioned it or not. Do you guys do sewer scope as well?
Yeah, we do our own sewer scope. So when you have, again, when you get the report, it's going to have sewer scope, radon, you know, whatever you ask for.
Yeah. No, and I think that re-inspect is so huge because, you know, we can say on our inspection objection, you know, we would like X, Y, and Z fixed. But you're right. I mean, you know, certain things the seller is just not going to be able to access, and other things, and more commonly, they're not going to really know if it was thoroughly fixed or if it was just sort of bandaged. So I think that's
a lot of. I mean, it's easy when it's a cosmetic item. You can go, oh yeah, I can see this was fixed. It's more for the things that you're not looking for.
For sure, for sure. No, I love it. All right. Good stuff. So are there ways that you and ProCheck give back to the community? Because that's really important, I think.
Yes. You know, we always try and help people. I always consider myself a resource in the community. A lot of times people call me and they'll say, oh, do you have a referral for this? Or I turn down a lot of tests because I'm like, oh, you know, that kind of mold, you can mitigate it this way. You don't need to do a test. People appreciate that. But also we donate monthly to Catholic Charities, which is the Samaritan House on Linden, the homeless shelter. Our support helps to provide 50,000 nights of shelter.
Wow.
52,000 meals prepared, 300 extended stay programs.
That's impressive.
Just in Fort Collins.
That's impressive.
It's a lot, you know. They're always looking for support if you want to chip in.
Yeah, no, and that is, you know, it's a huge cost because when I grew up here and I left 20 years ago, and the homeless population was not really an issue here in Fort Collins. And like many cities across the country, it's becoming a bit more of an issue, and providing, you know, even just proper meals and a warm place to stay during a snowstorm is so important.
It's so important, especially with the cold. And like you said, that population has increased so much that we have found ourselves with quite a bit of homeless people.
Yeah, for sure. And it happens, you know, it happens all, like I said, all across the country, but especially with growing cities. So, is there anything exciting going on that customers should know about?
So my big thing right now is indoor air quality. The field has changed significantly since COVID. There's all kinds of new technologies. There's all kinds of new training. There's no licensing because it's still an unregulated field.
Okay.
But we work with a laboratory, Enthalpy Analytical Laboratories. It's one of the top in the nations. And we do a report that monitors 500 plus most common airborne chemicals. So that's the VOCs. The VOCs people are talking about. And again, people call me and they're like, they give you allergy-like symptoms. Yeah. So people call me and they're like, what kind of test should I be doing? What am I looking at? And I, talk to them, and I'm not trying to overcharge people or do extra tests. But anyways, why is this important now? Because our outdoor air is not as great as it used to be.
I've read about this.
The EPA has reclassified Colorado's Front Range as a severe violator of federal air qualities. Which sounds crazy.
It sounds scary.
We're always like, we have this great mountain air. And naturally, air is the best thing to clean everything. But since the outdoor air isn't as pure as it used to be, then we really have to focus on our indoor air quality and the pollutants that contribute to that. So,
for sure, yeah. No, and I mean, you diving so much and becoming an expert about this, I think is so important, because I did read recently about how, bad our air here is, and nobody would expect it. But it is interesting. I was driving from Denver the other day and it came up, and, it's worse on different days, but you sort of see this layer and you're like, okay, I see what they're talking about.
Yeah, and then the wildfires.
Yep, that contributes heavily. For sure.
Yeah.
So, well, good for you for taking that extra step. So, tell everybody how they can find you, either physically or online.
So you can call or text 970-227-6898, or you can go to our website, ProCheckInspect.com. I always answer the phone. Everyone likes it.
You really are good about answering the phone and good about getting back when I leave a message. Communication is key for me, especially when I'm working with, all the different companies that we have to do.
The realtor world is tight.
There's a lot of moving parts in a sale, and so good communication is top of the list for me. So I do appreciate that. So, well, thanks again to you for coming in. Thank you all for tuning in. To learn about this great local business. I'm Morgan Merriman, realtor at RE/MAX Alliance. If you have a business that you would like to be interviewed, go ahead and reach out to me. Information is going to be at the end of this video. And, of course, if you have any real estate needs, I'm always happy to help. So have a great day. We'll see you next time on another episode of Lifestyle Living's Community Connection.